When the checkered flag fell at the Mexican Grand Prix, few could have predicted the storm that was about to unfold. What began as an intense wheel-to-wheel duel between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton turned into a full-blown controversy that left fans divided, teams furious, and the FIA once again accused of inconsistency. The drama started in turn 1. 4 cars going side by side into one of the trickiest braking zones of the calendar. It was inevitable that chaos would follow. As the dust settled, Hamilton found himself penalised with a crushing 10-second penalty that dropped him from a potential podium to 8th place. Verstappen escaped unscathed, and while the Dutchman insisted it's the same for everyone, Hamilton accused the FIA of double standards. The paddock hasn't stopped buzzing since could the FIA's latest decision alter the balance of the championship. Before we dive into the theories and political tension surrounding this controversy, make sure to subscribe because this channel will keep you ahead of every twist in F1's most explosive rivalry. The 2025 Mexican Grand Prix wasn't just another race. It was a spectacle of chaos, emotion, and controversy that reignited Formula One's most intense rivalry. Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton, a rivalry that once tore the sport apart, has returned to centre stage. And this time, it's not only about racing lines and overtakes. It's about trust in the FIA, the balance of justice, and the politics that define modern Formula One. Let's start with what actually happened on the track. As the lights went out at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, chaos immediately unfolded. 4 cars, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen, all barreled into turn 1 side by side. It was a breathtaking, almost reckless display of bravery. In that split second, 2 drivers, Leclerc and Verstappen, ran wide and took the escape road. Norris and Hamilton managed to keep their cars on track. But when the stewards decided to take no further action on that incident, the stage was set for something much bigger later in the race. By lap 6, Verstappen made a daring move down the inside of Hamilton into turn 1. A manoeuvre that forced both men to the limit of grip and space. Verstappen's car bounced violently over the grass before rejoining the circuit in front of Hamilton. On the next corner sequence, Hamilton tried to fight back, going around the outside only to lock up and miss the apex entirely. He too crossed the grass and rejoined ahead of Verstappen. Then came the moment that changed the race. The FIA handed Hamilton a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage. It was a decision that immediately sparked outrage across the paddock. Hamilton, furious, said he had been let down by the governing body, calling the decision an example of double standards. His frustration wasn't just about the penalty itself, it was about consistency. Just minutes earlier, Verstappen and Leclerc had done something similar without punishment. Why then was Hamilton the only one sanctioned? In the eyes of Max Verstappen, though, it was a simple matter of interpretation. "That's racing," he told the media. "It's what the stewards allow us to do. It's the same for everyone." But that statement, it's the same for everyone, only deepened the debate. Was it really the same? Because according to several commentators, including former driver Martin Brundle, Verstappen himself should have received a penalty for his opening lap actions. Brundle didn't mince words on Sky Sports. He argued that Verstappen deserved a drive-through penalty for what he called silliness at the start of the race. Max made no effort whatsoever to take turns 1, 2, or 3. He had no intention of staying on track. It's the sort of move he'd be furious about if someone else did it to him. Brundle went further, suggesting that if the FIA wants to stop these make-your-own-track moments at the start, they need to issue stronger penalties, something that sends a message to the drivers. The implication was clear. The FIA's leniency toward Verstappen's start had consequences later in the race. By failing to penalise the Dutchman early, they boxed themselves into a corner when Hamilton did the same thing later. And in that confusion, one driver was punished. The other wasn't. It was precisely the type of inconsistency that fuels conspiracy theories in the F1 community, especially when it involves two names like Hamilton and Verstappen. Adding to the drama, Verstappen claimed he had a technical reason for going off track, saying his Red Bull bottomed out on the curb during the opening corner chaos. It was quite hectic. I started bottoming out on the curb, then did a bit of rallying between turns 1 and 2. That explanation might hold water from a driver's perspective, but critics saw it as just another example of Verstappen escaping scrutiny for an incident that, in Hamilton's case, led to punishment. The irony is painful. Both Hamilton and Verstappen broke track limits. Both gained advantages, but only one was penalised. And that difference, whether you agree with it or not, could have a massive impact on the 2025 title fight. Verstappen's third-place finish in Mexico cut his deficit to Lando Norris to just 36 points. Hamilton's penalty, meanwhile, dropped him to 8th and left him a staggering 64 points behind Charles Leclerc. One decision, arguably subjective, may have reshaped the entire championship picture, fans too, a split down the middle. Some argue Hamilton knew exactly what he was doing and deserved the penalty. Others believe the FIA has developed a habit of letting Verstappen push the boundaries further than anyone else. Whatever side you're on, one thing is clear. Formula One thrives on controversy, and this one has reignited the sport's most explosive rivalry. As we look ahead, the FIA faces an uncomfortable question. Should Verstappen's actions be reviewed further? Some former drivers and analysts believe they should, arguing that the governing body needs to send a clear message before the season reaches its final stages. But realistically, retrospective penalties are rare. And unless new evidence emerges, Verstappen's result will likely stand. Still, the bigger story isn't about one penalty. It's about what it represents. It's a symbol of Formula One's never-ending struggle to balance competition with fairness and of how every ruling can tilt the momentum of a world championship.